Brad from RotoHeat back at it with another 2020 rookie profile. Today we're talking Laviska Shenault Jr., wide receiver, Colorado. Don't forget, if you've liked all the content you've been seeing from the RotoHeat channel here on YouTube, like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything that we're kicking out for this 2020 rookie class. During his 3-year college career, he racked up 149 catches for 1,943 yards and 10 touchdowns. That comes out to about 13 yards per catch. He also had 42 carries, 280 yards, and 7 touchdowns. For athletic ability, we rated him at a 7.8 out of 10. The cool thing about Shenault Jr. is he's got the very prototypical wide receiver frame and big playability. You know, the kid's 6'2", 220, and and you saw by the numbers. I mean, he averaged 13 yards a catch, and that's that's a big deal. I mean, that's quite a bit of yardage per catch. I mean, he as we get into the route running, we'll talk more specifically, but for the type of routes that they called him to run, that's a lot of yards per catch, and that really goes back to his ability to make things happen with the ball in his hands. And the thing that you'll like about as you watch him is that it seems like the offense is just a mess, but he's a bright spot on that offense, and that'll work out well for him as he moves to the NFL. There's quite a few teams that he's been linked to already early on in the draft process, and it's all good for him. For toughness, we gave him a 6.7 out of 10. It's an above average score, and there isn't really anything to be concerned about here. I mean, when he got the ball in his hands, it almost was like he was a running back. I mean, he didn't shy away from contact. You didn't see a lot of injuries or things that knocked him out of games. I mean, the kid's as sturdy as they come, so 6.7 out of 10 really doesn't represent how tough the kid really is. They're like most receivers, their blocking acumen could stand to use a little bit of polish, but he's a really solid receiver, and very physically tough. He was good he could box out the corners to get the ball, and there's really not a lot of concerns in anywhere with Shenault's game, but there's still room to improve. For hands, we gave him a 7.3 out of 10. You would see plenty of times as you were looking at the film that he'd catch the ball away from his body, and he made it look easy. There's really not a concern here. He doesn't wait for the ball to hit his chest or his body. He goes up and gets it. So, even with the shoddy offensive play and the shaky quarterback play, he would make all the catches that really could be made. And he made them with ease. His hands are really solid, and that's gonna come in handy. Depending on where he goes, he might have one of those quarterbacks that rockets the ball in there, and the kid's got really good hands, and he'll go get that ball. For Yak, we gave him a 7.3 out of 10. Yards after catch. I mean, when you've got 13 yards per catch, there's times where those are going to be big plays. So he's got that ability to get you a lot of yards after catch. Now, obviously, it depends on how the plays are schemed at the NFL level. He's going to be facing really top-notch corners every week, and depending on the type of team that he goes to, he may be borderline number one receiver where he's getting shadowed by the defense's best corner. So in college that wasn't the case. So obviously he got a little bit more big play opportunities just based on competition level, but we liked what we saw. We definitely think that this is one of his stronger abilities, and will bode well as he moves on to the next level. For route running, we gave him a 6.7 out of 10. It's hard to tell. Colorado's offense is probably more to blame than anything. So many crossing routes, and they're really kind of short to medium, and he would make something out of little. So I don't know how well defined his route tree is. That's something that will need to be developed. at the pro level, because Colorado did a lot of crossing routes. If I felt like as I was watching footage, I just, I kept ticking the box that another crossing route, another crossing route. And it just depended on how deep that crossing route was. There was a lot of scrambles as well, so the quarterback moved out of the pocket, did bootlegs, things like that. And, and you'd watch Shenault follow him, so there was that connection there. So, I definitely think he's a very intelligent receiver. And, so this won't be a problem for him at the next level to pick this up. Overall, we gave him a 7.2 out of 10. Depending on who you talk to or what boards you're looking at, he's wide receiver 2, 3, 4. He's definitely one of the top 5 receivers in the draft class. It's kind of the how polished do you like your receiver? There's kind of Jerry Jeudy and then the others. Shenault, I think looking back, will wind up, obviously depending on situation, be probably wide receiver 2 or 3 in this draft class. He's got a lot of natural talent. And all the reviewers seem to have positive remarks about him. The versatility where he played all over the formation, basically every position, not quarterback and offensive line. It's just a real positive outlook for Shenault. And we like his game as it transitions to the next level. Prototypical size, prototypical speed, most likely. He plays fast, he plays strong, tough. I mean, all the things you want in a receiver. So we're really excited about him. Obviously, he's probably a first round receiver in your rookie drafts as of now. But we still have combine and post draft evaluation to do. But all signs are pointing up for Laviska Shenault Jr.
Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.